Greetings, Brother Ethan. It's good to see you, is it not? Seems you haven't seen some time, but now we see each other. And it's like time has not passed. I can see that you're trying to find your center. Yeah, we're always trying to find our center. As you can see, things have changed in the background, is it not? It has taken time, but step by step, breath by breath, thy will be done, and thy kingdom come. All things are possible. If we will it, if we follow our hearts, if we are steadfast and diligent, all things possible will become possible. I see you have started to change things in your sanctuary, your place of solace. Please, Ethan, speak.
It's good to see you, Kai. Doing very well. I feel anxious when I was meeting you, my heart excited. Reminiscing back on our conversations, it is so easy to fall back 20 years when you're in this journey. New challenges arise with different heads, but very appreciative of being able to experience and grateful to be here, to experience sorrow, joy, togetherness. Yeah.
It's good. Indeed, sometimes when we feel that we are making steadfast way, sometimes we feel we are going backwards, isn't it? Sometimes we feel like we are going 20 years back, as you say. But here's the thing, even when you are going back, it is still going forward. Yeah. Even when you feel you have taken a couple steps back, if you remain within your own humility, remain within your own honesty, you're still going forward. And as you say, it's all experience, no regrets. No regrets. So now when you're on this path now, when I remind you, brother, all that you can possibly do is experience. No need to regret, isn't it? All that you are going to do, all you have done has been done. All you're going to do will be done. So even if you fall off the mountain, it's still going forward. It just means when we start climbing back up again, we're reminded of some things that we could do differently. This is where wisdom comes, yeah? And this is where we learn humility. When we walk away from situations or people, we must also remind ourselves that we are walking away but going back towards them from a different direction. So goodbye does not necessarily mean goodbye. It just means I will see you in another way next time. Yes, really, there's never really no goodbye. And if it's very joyful that you say you're doing better than before, very joyful. So the warmth that I feel is emanating from you. And it feels nice just to be reminded when we look in hindsight of how things once were, and we're now looking at how we are now. But just remember, we're always just going forward. That's all we do. We celebrate with every breath that we take. Our life is a living prayer. We are like a living testament. All deeds. And I see now you're growing. You're allowing yourself, the lion's mane to grow. I will never be able to grow something like this. That's just the way it is. So, Brother Ethan, please tell me, have you been trying to practice any of your moving meditation?
Brother Kai, I gotta say, you told me everything I need to know. When I go back to our sits, yeah, I have not been consistent, but I feel the same things I felt before. Sometimes I feel separate from my body. I treat my body as something different. But then I go back and realize I have to listen to it. That's the only way. That's the only way forward. And yeah, slowly coming to terms with it. And yeah, practice is where I learn things. Yeah, impatience and all these things sometimes come in different forms to hinder practice. Mostly telling myself, what is wrong with you? Like, we did all these things, everything we're supposed to do, and yet we are here. But that's not true.
Sorry, Brother Ethan, do you have any swimming facilities near where you are? Anywhere you can swim?
I can go to the ocean.
Yeah. The ocean beckons, you know. During lockdown, the thing that my body has missed the most has been swimming. I did not live by the ocean. I live in the urban jungle. So if there's no swimming pool, the closest that I have is a bath. But then a bath is just like swimming in a tin can. But for yourself, the ocean, it beckons. The ocean, the moment you go inside the ocean and you allow it to take you, that there is moving meditation. Just to play in the water is moving meditation. When we do Qigong was devised in China. It was brought over from Gautama, from India. It was in a place where it was not too warm. So Qigong was practiced standing up. But the movements that you see in Qigong and the mindset, the state of being that one reminds us of to attain or be composed in is derived from being in water. If you watch very carefully the movements of yoga as well, it's all to do with spine, to allow the spine to be supple. When we are by the ocean, we are blessed, especially a temperate ocean. And if one is like surfing, then so be it. So if you find it difficult, if your body finds it difficult, I recommend going to the waters. Just go and play. Don't be thinking too much about it. Just go in the water, scream, shout, punch the waves. You don't need to swim, just to play. Just be a babe in the water. And if you're not shy, you could take off all your clothes. The liberation you will feel every single time you step away and move away from the ocean is almost like being reborn. It's like the ocean gives birth to you every single time you step foot back on land. This is such a good blessing to be living by water. And then another thing that will help you immensely is if you walk backwards in water. So most people, they'll take a walk or a jog by the shore, but you can walk inside the water, maybe ankle high, then eventually you can walk inside the water waist high. But by walking backwards, your tempo of flesh and blood will start to recalibrate. With many muscles we do not use when we are on solid ground. It's a different type of physics. But many of our muscles, many of our mechanics go to waste when we sit down for too long. So when we play like babes in the ocean, in the water, it takes us to a more primordial state of being. And it is in the water that will help you immensely. So my advice is to really consider this. And you will find also in time, if you play in the water, you will realize that when you come out of the water, this moving meditation is still within you. I'll give you an example. When we stand on firm ground, for many of us, we cannot stand still. Our foundation, our temple quivers and shakes. We are not aware of our center. So when you go into the ocean, this becomes exponential. The waves will lash you around more. But in the beginning, just play at the shallow area. Maybe lie up on the beach and just let your feet dangle in like a little babe. But as you eventually become more brave within yourself, more familiar with the ocean's touch, her caress, the way she kisses, you can then start to emerge into her bosom. And as you do this, you will start becoming a part of her. And where once you was not able to realize where your center is, with her motion, With her waves, she would gently rock you back towards your center. And then, as I say, if you practice to walk in the water, forwards, but also backwards, this will really help to bring your temporal flesh and blood back into equilibrium. It will bring your awareness. When I speak to I speak to I. Bring back your awareness into my temple. This is something is up to you. You could do as daily or not daily. Like I say, no regrets. Because now you are from a perspective that is less less dualistic. You're able to see yourself from outside yourself. This is good, Brother Ethan. No more guilt, no more regrets. Always moving forward. I can also now I can see through the way you are. I see that you're doing very well in some areas of your life. But take heed, do not get too comfortable. Remember the meadow that I spoke about before. It is always there. Because even though we say no regrets, what can be very regretful is if we one day slip off the edge. When we are hanging, as we did before, by our fingernails off the cliff. This is very sad. Yes, we must take heed not to do this, because when this happens, it's no longer taking some steps back. It is literally it's hard to return from this. Very hard. And that is where many regrets will happen. Because Brother Ethan, we are still young, are we not? Compared to our elders, the ones that have been here more moons than us. But when we look at our peers and we look at the state of their temporal flesh and blood, and then we see where they reside within their own being, we can see a lot of regret in their being. So for myself, the thing that reminds me often is looking and watching other sentient beings. Other sentient minds remind me to not fall down this well, not to be enticed by the meadow. I'm not saying that I'm looking down on them. I'm reminded that I must continue on my path, for I will be lost too if I follow their lead. This is solemn words. For myself, there are times when I do look to the future. And the reason why is when I look at my parents, when I'm with my parents, my ego, the character, always tells me, time is nearly coming for you to say goodbye. And there is sadness there. But at the same time, this sadness reminds me that, well, these moments, these beautiful moments that I share with my parents, my elders, must be cherished, and I must learn from them. Yes, we learn from everything. But when it comes to our bodies, this vehicle that we use in order to help either ourselves or others, we must be mindful. It's very sad sometimes when I help sentient beings where I can see that they had given up. And now when I come towards them to hold on to their hand to pull them up slightly off the cliff that they are hanging, I could see that they are actually indeed trying to pull me down with them. This is very sad. So even though there is no regrets, Brother Ethan, I remind you to remind yourself to not allow yourself to go down in this path. And you will realize as time goes by, well, the aches and the pains will show more. They will show more. Yeah. What I've learned is, for some of us, we need to rely on these aches and pains to, in some way, help us to go. Almost like being thrown out of a house. That we do things to make us become thrown out of the house. So what I mean by this is this. Some of us, we allow our temples of flesh and blood to become so broken that the body cannot house us anymore. So we literally get thrown out. But then when I look at my parents, they still are diligent in their practices. And like my grandfather and my aunties and my relatives that were practitioners, they were not thrown out their house. They had given their materials, their possessions away. They had said their goodbyes, and they opened the door themselves and they left by themselves. And those that were left behind was egotistically, we were sad, but spiritually we were very happy for them. These are the ones that pass in their sleep. You see they have a smile on their face. And the way they passed on was how also they lived their life. Every moment was a breath in and a breath out. No need for unnecessary suffering. But hark this, we are human after all. There's nothing wrong with endless suffering. One could say that this suffering spurs on creativity. It is through chaos and destruction where things are created, is it not? Beautiful things can happen during moments of suffering and despair. But they are only realized once the suffering and despair has been over. But while it's happening, it's not beautiful to the person. But if one is mindful, then everything becomes beautiful, even during the suffering. One is able to watch it as though one is listening to an orchestra playing a symphony. One can see that even suffering is a part of this wondrous and beautiful music. Every instrument needed, every catastrophe needed, every miracle needed. So during lockdown, I had people close to me pass away. And there was moments in my mind when I saw that I had regrets as well. Regrets that I had not helped him enough. Oh, if only I had seen him that last time. But then those that had passed while they were here with us, they always reminded me not to regret. And then I had to giggle and laugh. Please, Ethan, tell me what's happening in your life. I want to hear.
Someone very close to me, someone who was a mentor, a father-like figure, passed away a few days back unexpectedly. Yeah, and what you said just now, I resonate very strongly with that. Um, and yeah, it's. I want to think that he was liberated from this existence, but there was so much good he was doing for everybody in community, and it's shocking. It changes. I mean, egotistically, it changes my life. It turns it upside down. Um, you know, thinking about next steps and such. Um, that has happened, and I'm my attention goes towards the family, and I'm called to help them with my, as much as I can with my abilities. Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah. So you see, when we have loved ones go, it's our selfishness that wish they were still here.
mm,
But then we're reminded that no one owns anything, not even our own body. Yeah. And even after they go, things continue. But as the ones that are left behind, the ones that the person has touched, who has made an influence or inspired us, they live on through us. So in that sense, they have not really died. We will be reminded of them in things that we do or not do. And this is the same for how we are towards other people. Yeah. As individuals, we have so much potential, but also we are so interconnected, so much so than we can possibly fathom. A complete stranger, a perfect stranger, one that we just smile at from across the room, we have changed their whole universe. And for you to have felt this way towards that person, it means also that you saw within them also within you. So it's good that you are going to help the family. But remember, Ethan, help because you want to help, not because you want to receive anything. It's really important. If they give, then they give. That's it. If they give, then you take. That's it. But when you give, you just give. You don't. It's like the breath, is it not? When the breath comes, take it. But when once you've had it, you have to just have to give it all, give it back. You can't hold on to a part of that breath. This is true in all aspects of life. You know, we live in a society where we have to save up, isn't it? But when we look at the grand scheme of things, when we are born, we are given everything. And when we go, just leave it all behind, man. No regrets. My dear brother Prem, he's in Mexico at the moment. And I was talking to him. And he said that he had lost a good bulk of money. But when he said to me, he said, easy come, easy go. We both just giggled. See, Brother Prem, maybe one day you will meet him, maybe online or maybe in person. He's a very beautiful person. But yes, when we lose things, that's it, easy come, easy go. And this is likewise in relationships, yes. I know that sometimes our heart hurts, isn't it? But that's just the body. But also I remind you, like I said before, whenever your body feels in some kind of discomfort, you must remind yourself that I have been tyrannical. Yeah. Say, oh, haven't been good to my horse. I must take it to the ocean. Let it gallop. Let it wade. Let it wander. Let it take flight in the ocean. Let it gallop. Feel the sand beneath your toes. I keep on mentioning the ocean because that's what I see that your body needs. And I know this too well because I know that's what my body needs as well. Yes. I have, you know, like I said before, the closest thing that I have to a swimming pool is a bathtub. So with myself at home, I will run the bath and I will submerge myself underwater and I will breathe. I will start practicing my internal massage. And what happens is when you have your ears submerged underwater and your nostrils are still above the water and you're able to do this internal massage, you can really feel and see the cymatic effect of this resonation. It's incredible. But when you go to the ocean, you're surrounded by it. You don't no longer need to do this om. But there's times when I'm in the bathtub and I could feel that there is some kind of tension within my being. I'm very intuitive. I can feel it. But when I want to move, I can't move because I'm in a tin can. Oh, what I would give for an ocean.
What if I get you one of those inflatable pools? Yeah.
That would be funny. We actually have one for the children over at my parents' house. So we're looking forward to using that when it gets a bit
Oh,
warmer.
summer. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
um, there's this exercise that I tell some people to do, and it's about releasing the Hulk, about being reconnected with the primordial being. For some people, when they come for me for help, they lack what we call the yang or the fire. They're very scared all the time. They lack the ferociousness. So there is this exercise that I get them to eventually start practicing. And what it is for them to go into the water and breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and then breathe in, and then hold their breath and go under the water. And the practice is for them to hold on to their breath as long as they can. And as we do this, one will notice that the body or the horse will start to fidget. And the more one does this, eventually the Hulk or the tiger or the lion appears. It's akin to someone holding your head down. Even if you're the most peaceful person, if someone is to hold your head down, you will scratch their eyes out. You will fight for your life. Some people need this because they had given up. So you remind them what death is. So the water is very powerful, Brother Ethan. Because when we are inside our mother's womb, we are inside water. For those 9 months, we are the master of water. You see this, isn't it? And then when we come out into the universal womb, this place that we are now, we must try to, again, master this place. It has different physics. But if we are not connected to our center, it's very hard for us to, in quotes, master our body in this physics, in this place. So then we return to the ocean, reconnect with our primordial being, become a dolphin, you know. What, Brother Ethan, when I look at you, you have like watery as well. Your energy is very watery. It's good. You know, you're like a diplomat. Yeah, you're very diplomatic. You accommodate people. So the ocean, well, I feel that you'll be like a babe. Can you swim? Just a bit. Yeah, maybe have this as something to work towards, to be able to swim.
Mm.
You know, as if you could swim, then you could swim through life. You could ride the wave.
By the way,
Yeah, ride the wave of love.
well,
And how, at the moment, is your relationship with your parents, if you don't mind me asking?
um, so body, number one teacher. Parents is a very close second. I mean, they're they can teach a lot.
Mm.
So I sometimes force myself to be in their presence, do the things they're doing, see
Mm.
what's up, you know.
Mm.
What can I? It's it's some people, their presence just elevates you. It's hurtful, especially with my father, but there's so much to learn. It's like seeing a mirror.
Yeah, it is. Yes, that's wisdom there. Yeah, we learn most from the people that we don't get on with. You know, if you are with someone that agrees with everything you say and everything you do, then you're just with yourself. But if you're with someone that is clashing with you, it means that they are seeing things from a different perspective completely to you. So they are the ones that can teach you the most. So it's quite wise what you say. But also it's beautiful to be able to have this relationship with our parents. You know, some of us say that, you know, they don't like our parents. But I say to them, you know, you are still you. If you don't like, you don't have to be like them. That means they're still teaching you. Like we learn the most from things that we either don't understand or don't like. That makes sense, does it not? Yeah, you learn most from things you fear as well. Does it make sense? Yeah. If everything's all cutting candy floss, you ain't gonna learn. You become complacent. And that is the medal. It becomes too easy. It's so nice to hear that you're having this relationship with your parents. It means now that your roots and in your body as well, your root is becoming more connected. You no longer feel lost. You remember our very first conversation, isn't it? The theme of that first meeting, that encounter was, you know, I was a pirate that saw you out at sea, afloat on a raft, looking disheveled, long beard, you know, haven't eaten or drank in don't know how long. And I was like this pirate with one peg leg.
I was looking for a cruise ship and I got a pirate.
And you got a pirate, yeah. But now look at you now. You have found your roots again. You can't be lost. Can't be. And then also now you've attained this knowledge that everything is always moving forward. No regrets. Yeah, no regrets. So now you have the root, but also now you have what we describe as insight to be able to vision as well. Yeah, very powerful. And then now it's just up to you to play, to get used to the rest of it, or the middle. Find that center, my brother. Find the center. What kind of things do you do with your parents?
So we decided to work together on projects around the house. My parents like their vegetable garden. I don't like any of those things, so I go do these things, work with them, and see, yeah, and just watch watch what unravels, you know. And it is hilarious, you know. There's bombardment of emotions. Oh, why are you making me do this? This is the most inefficient thing you could do, but I don't say anything. I just follow.
Yeah.
And
It's beautiful.
my mom likes to volunteer, so I started going with her to the soup kitchen. And yeah,
It's good. It's very good. Yeah, so my mother likes gardening as well. She grows her vegetables and things like this. That's
Yeah.
her. That's like her exercise, but also her meditation.
Hmm. Yeah. My mom talks to the plants.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah.
So the thing with physical labor, it becomes not fun when we think too much about it, you know. But if we just become mindful and become present in our body actually becomes more stronger, and our mind becomes more sharper. So when I was younger, I would help my mother every year. I would help to plow the field or plow the garden. We had a big garden. You know, take out the stones and the weeds to prepare the land for the next season. And when you're younger, when I was younger, there was moments where I was like, I see my friends would go and play, and I think, I wish I could go play. But then I didn't. I was that kind of child. I was like, what they say, a good boy. But when I look back now, all those times when I was helping my parents, it made me stronger. It gave me the ability to become very diligent, very steadfast. I don't give up. Yeah. You notice in children who they don't, first of all, they don't like piano, and their parents kind of force them, isn't it? But most of them, in later in life, they always say, I'm so grateful that my parents made me play piano. And it's them doing that also made them were able to do other things in their life. When other people gave up, they just continued. So many things that our parents ask us to do when we're younger, we don't really know, you know. We don't really know. It's only when we get a bit older we think, okay. So we always have to remember that our parents are a bit older. They've been here, a few more moons than us. But here's the thing, brother Ethan. I will tell you something that is very important too. Whenever I looked at my parents in the eyes as a child, and then when I looked at strangers' eyes, I always realized something very different. The way that my parents looked at me was completely different to the way other people looked at me. I didn't know why. There was a part of me that wished that others would look at me like how my parents would look at me, because I would look at other people like how I would look at my parents. But here's the thing. When my son first arrived, when I first caught my son from the apple as he fell from the tree, and I held him, and his eyes wide open, the first time when I looked down at him, I could have an inkling of why it was that my parents looked at me the way they did. And then now my son, he's 8 years old, he's going to be 9, close to the end of this year. And I know now that when I look at him exactly how my parents look at me. Now I know why they look at me like this. So here's another thing. When that moment happened, now when I look at my parents, look into their eyes, Ethan, we both look at each other differently. Now I know all these years that how my parents are, the way they are is because that's what they just thought was the best way. What I'm saying is this: now me and my parents were all in the same boat. I still love them. I love them dearly, but now we acknowledge each other as equals as well. In this life, we are all equals. They are my parents, but they're also my equals. So what I'm saying to you, brother Ethan, is if you don't get on with your parents, it doesn't matter. Just know that they are winging it. Just know that they're making it up as they're going along. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So if you think something is better, that it can be done better, then there's nothing wrong with you saying it. But do it in such a way where you acknowledge that they are also winging it and you are winging it. It just so happens like, wow, you just worked out a better way. And you've come with this mutual, what we describe as like a mutual politeness, isn't it? And you showed them through your actions that, hey, you could do it this way. Remember, actions speak louder than words. Especially, let's say we're in a garden situation, isn't it? Don't need to say to them, oh, why would you do it this way? And if you catch yourself saying it in your mind, you just tell yourself to shut up. Say to yourself, and show me. You understand what I mean? Show me. So you do it a different way and you say, hey, mother or father, look what I can do. The way you do it is good, but look at the way I'm doing it. And here, my brother, you will see that your mother or your father will have pride. Will make them feel very good that, wow, someone that they have caught from the tree has blossomed from their tree. This feels right what I'm saying, isn't it? And likewise, this is the same when you said that your mentor passed away, it's the exact same thing. They were just showing you ways of doing things, which you can do as well, but you acknowledge it, you see it, but you could do it better. I always say to myself, if they can do it, I can do it. And I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm doing it for me. And that's the honest truth. So my mother is getting older now. So each year the garden becomes smaller. Yeah. We're still young, but remember our parents they're going towards that time when we will say goodbye. So cherish these moments, my brother. And not just with them, but every single person you meet in your life. Always have this in my mind, in my heart, every scenario. You'll come across sometimes someone might, what they describe as being a asshole or something like this. Just remind yourself, wow, man, time is so short, man. Thank you for being an asshole. It makes you see things in a different light, isn't it? It's very nice to see you, brother Ethan, It's good. Feels nice now that where once I was urging you to hold on, to pull yourself up, now you have pulled yourself up. It makes me feel good. See, that's selfish. It's the honest truth. I help others to help myself as well. Now I have less burden to carry because I know you will, in your own way, help others. Remember, you don't have to be exactly the same as your mentor. You can't, it's impossible. You can't be exactly the same as your mother or your father. It's impossible. You are you. But it brings me warmth to my heart when I see you and we see each other like this. That I can see within you that you will help others in your way, in your own special, unique way. You're adding a wonderful, beautiful new flavor to the soup. Wholesome soup. So over here in the UK, we are slowly easing out of lockdown. And the people I'm helping is overwhelming sometimes, you know. It's almost like a flood has opened and people start pouring in. It's at times it can be overwhelming. But I just say to you, make use of that ocean because I'm getting an ocean of people. You know, I keep reminding you of the ocean, man. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It took some time. Yeah. I did. So the walls I had to replaster. I've never plastered my life. Yeah. I never done it before, but just learned to do it slowly but surely. See, I can't afford to pay other people to do it. But I wanted to do it, you know. And then the rest of the house still needs more things to do. During lockdown, many things was unavailable. Things were not available for delivery, or things were closed or out of stock, because you know many people were doing refurbishing their house during lockdown. There was nothing better to do. How is the lockdown in where you are? How is it? Wow, it's really good. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, we just over here in the UK. From what I can gather, is many people are relieved that things are slowly, for the moment, becoming more normal. But it has affected many areas of life in the UK. I'm not sure what will happen if another lockdown happens. It's not good. Mm. And I see on the road, on the streets when I walk, a lot of businesses have closed. Not good. But then there are other businesses like food delivery is gone up. Yeah, thriving. So it's interesting, very interesting. So, Brother Ethan, it's come now to time that I will say goodbye until the next time. But yes, if you please, if you will, we will see each other in a month's time. And but until then, I strongly advise you to go to the ocean. Send me some pictures, please. It'd be very delightful for me. See some water, or maybe a video of the waves, but also maybe roll around in the sand. If you can, you don't have to. I'm just asking. thank you so much. It's it's very nice to see you. My heart is warmed. But until the next time, Brother Ethan, I will bid you farewell, send you blessings to yourself and your family, and may this greet you in good spirits. Om Ni Tu Fu Om.